Hello, it is I, David St. Erie, and I am doing a response video for episode 2416 of JRE, also known as Joe Rogan Experience. His guest was Dan Farah. Their topic for the day was UAPs, UFOs, military sightings, whistleblowers, secret programs, and things like that. I found it very interesting, so I broke it down to some different sections and thought I would go over some of the topics and see what everybody thought. If you had any ideas about this, these are the biggest points from the episode that I took away. So, pardon me if I'm looking at my notes more than the camera here. The big theme throughout the conversation is transparency, or the lack of it, when it comes to UAPs. Farah brings up multiple cases on military personnel seeing an enormous craft that moves in ways that no human technology should be able to at this point. Impossible acceleration, silent hovering, sharp turns that would liquefy a human pilot. They talked about the idea that some of these might actually have been recovered, physically retrieved. There are classified programs working on reverse engineering them. Farah stressed that we may already have access to non-human technology, but it's locked away, buried under layers of secrecy, politics, and national security concerns. Of course, none of that shit would surprise me at all. And until the time comes where they are showing it on mainstream television or internet or whatever, and just everybody coming out with it like all at once, it's going to be fringe or even conspiracy theories. There's the nuclear angle, the sightings over nuclear facilities, missiles shutting down, craft hovering over secure sites. It raises these sort of questions. Are they drawn to our nuclear capabilities, or are they monitoring us, warning us, or is this just the easiest place to detect advanced tech? Another point they go into is the possibility of an international race around the tech. If some country, some private program figured out how to use it first, it could be world-changing and potentially dangerous or revolutionary. And throughout the whole conversation, Rogan and Farah both kept circling back to one main question: why is it hidden from the public, and at what cost? Do we deserve to know what's going on? Would society as a whole be able to handle it, or would there be mass chaos? Sometimes I have high hopes and think that we would be able to handle it, and then I look around and I think we are surrounded by people that might not be able to handle it. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be able to handle the truth. Things I think I know might not be true at all, and it could melt my brain. I have no fucking idea. I'd like to think that I would be able to handle it well, but the rest of the world, I don't know. So, government secrecy and reverse engineering programs. One of the things that hit me the hardest in this episode is the tension between discovery and secrecy, if any of it's real. And they do have recovered crafts or ships or whatever you want to call them. You might want scientists studying it. You want humanity to benefit from it. But on the other hand, we have to consider how governments operate. And what are they known for? Weaponizing shit. Transparency then becomes an enemy if that's what they want to do, and public knowledge becomes a liability. I am pushing for disclosure. I think everybody deserves to know everything. and maybe we could all start working together for a better world in that case. Next, we have to think about the credibility of the witnesses that they were talking about. They're not random people. They're not even people like me on the internet or wherever that are talking about these things. If you saw me talking on a show about this kind of stuff, you'd be like, oh, that guy loves science fiction. He's, been immersed in horror movies and science fiction since he was a kid, and he's got a permanent tinfoil hat. But the people they're talking about are Navy pilots, nuclear base operators, special forces personnel, people who are trained not to panic, not to hallucinate, not to misinterpret physical phenomena. A lot of them have claimed to see the same things, and that leads me to believe that there's something truly going on. So the implications of technology and humanity, if any of these propulsion claims are real, if they are bending inertia, using gravity somehow, or running on energy sources we can't even name yet, that does change everything. Free energy, faster than light travel, interdimensional travel, or a massive shift in global power, which could be scary. The way that they were describing at one point they were describing how a craft operates in a space-time bubble. That's why things appear blurry. That's why they might appear to be moving faster or slower than what we see them. Or that's why there's lost time, which is a popular concept in ufology, I guess it's called. Lost time, where people claim that they are somewhere in a spaceship, they've been abducted or whatever, and when they come back, they think it's only been a couple minutes, but it's been like 3 weeks. Things like that make sense if they are in and utilizing a space-time bubble, if you will. The episode also lands on at a really important time. Recently, we've had congressional hearings about UAP transparency. Whistleblowers have come forward. Politicians, not fringe conspiracy theorists, are openly asking questions about retrievals and secret programs. It does feel to me like disclosure is building. Not because I want it to, of course, I guess we all do. But it feels like we are on the brink of a new era. These are the kind of things that growing up in the 80s was only in movies and only thought about in terms of absolute science fiction. And now we are having congressional hearings on it. And I think the majority of at least average to above average thinking individuals know that this can be true. This conversation with Farah doesn't feel like wild speculation. It does feel like he is a part of a movement that is getting bigger. And of course, I am a UFO and cryptid and, nut. Love all kinds of crazy weird things. I mean, you can even see, I got Frankenstein in the background. There's a really cool 3D frame of the Howling movie. I mean, this is my life. And of course, I'm excited about it. But beyond my own speculation, it does seem to be something very important happening. So whether these crafts are extraterrestrial, interdimensional, future humans, something we can't even categorize yet. It's the universe is a big place. And as somebody once said, if we were the only ones in it, that'd be an awfully big waste of space. So I like living in this world where mystery still exists. We're not at the top of the cosmic hierarchy, where there are things that are out there that challenge our understanding. maybe even our own consciousness. Have you ever thought about that in itself is just some kind of amazing scientific technology? Our own consciousness is like a living organism. So I would like to know what you think about not just this episode, but in general about what's going on, or if you have any experiences. It would be great to leave them in the comments. You can, drop them here. Social media stuff for me. My email is davidsteiri@gmail.com. That's David, S-T-Erie, E-E-R-I-E @gmail.com. And David St. Erie, spelled the same way, .com. That's the website. So yeah, I just figured I would put that out there and see what you all thought. Thanks for listening.